Alright, everybody. Alright, we're back fixing up the left tank. Everything is pretty hunky-dory. Everything was cleaned out and we inspected for leaks, right? The thing is, like, where the hell was the fuel coming from? Couldn't find it. Anyone that remembers, we added that accessory panel on the back of the tank because the... Let's see, which one was that? Oh, yeah. So the vent line bung on the inner rib was loose. Somehow I didn't bother torquing that when it was put in. So there was a leak in the vent line. So you couldn't have more than 5 gallons of fuel in at a time. It would start leaking. Thus, the 5-inch accessory panel in the back. Again, from the last video, that's overkill. So I identified where the leak was actually coming from. It is the junction of the bottom skin and the back baffle and the inner rib. So there's a place where those 3 pieces of metal come together. So in the end of the video, you'll see where the actual leak was coming from. So I've gooed this thing up to within an inch of its life. There isn't any section where that thing isn't going to actually be just absolutely sealed. But shockingly, it still wasn't where the leak was coming from, which is where I put it. So in the end, you'll see where it actually is. It's actually the connection between the back baffle and the bottom skin. So it has nothing to do with the inside rib. It's actually that fold. And it wasn't really sealed up pretty much at all. So what was happening is if there was any pressure on the bottom skin to go down for any reason and sort of in that motion of trying to separate from the back baffle, it was opening up and just letting fuel out. Not a lot, right? Very little, but still, it was. And so that was just like, had to get nipped in the bud. Alright, so while I seal up this chunk in the corner here, let's do a little bit of a rant, because we haven't had one of those in a couple of years, and I got a good one. To the Port of Oakland, my home airport, also that handles all of the shipping into the Port of Oakland, docks here in Oakland. Go f*** yourselves. You f***ing children. So what they have done, now for years they've tried to collect landing fees here at Oakland. From, transient people coming in, because it's nice. It's a big, beautiful airport right on the bay. It makes a nice, very attractive place to come in, do a little pattern work. And so they try to collect landing fees for years, but legally they were told you can't. You can ask for them, but you don't technically have to collect them. But you can also ask for them, right? It's this weird thing where, because they're just a pain in the ass and we hate them all. So now they have partnered with Vector Airport Systems to now use ADS-B tracking to collect landing fees and send out landing fee requests to pilots that come into the airport automatically. Now, of course, there's exceptions. Anyone who's stationed at Oakland doesn't have to pay. Anyone who's Part 91 doesn't have to pay. And a few other things, but like any commercial characters, Part 121, 135, 141, 61, and all the schools, they're going to have to pay. I don't know how this is supposed to work out, but this is a total disregard for the legal ruling that came down that says that they can't collect. So once again, the Port of Oakland, greedy twats that they are, they go f*** themselves. All right, so yeah, here's the actual leak. You want to know where that actual leak was? See how little sealant there was? So you could just basically peel back that lower skin and the fuel would just start coming out. And somehow, shockingly, for years, it never had a problem. So we're going to goo it up within an inch of its life. Of course, there's a lot of metal that it needs to come in contact with, and so you can't really just put like a 5-inch layer. It has to be strategic, but still, it's going to be done well. So, good news on this. Everything is perfectly fine. No more leaks. All right, in the next video, new stuff. So, thank you for joining me, everyone. See you soon.